Mr. Nikhil Gupta. We are very delighted and I take this opportunity, sir, to introduce our speaker, Mr. Nikhil Gupta. Mr. Nikhil is a seasoned leader in the space of technology and has served various leadership positions under a wide range of industries, vis-a-vis geo-mapping, food tech, healthcare, and EdTech. While he was led various digital innovations in these roles over the years, he is specifically very passionate about education and bringing valuable technology to serve K-12 institutes in India. He has been heading Power School, India's product implementations team in his current role and bringing Power School's tech innovations to India. He feels that by bringing Power School's futuristic technology to K-12 institutes in India, we can empower our educators and school administrators to close down the standards of education gap with the world with, with the development world. With this futuristic approach, sir, we truly welcome you on this virtual platform and to hear from you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yogita. Really thankful for the kind words. Hi, everyone. This is Nikhil. Yogita just done the introduction, so I'll not spend a lot of time there, but just want to start off with saying that really glad and really feeling privileged to be a part of such an excellent group of educators here. And I think what we are going to talk about today is something that most of you would already, I think, either would be going through or resonating through. So without taking much of your time, I'll just share my screen to talk about few the top 5 challenges that we think, and we have been talking to the schools here in India from the last few years, and myself and our team has been are speaking to more than like hundreds of schools in throughout India. So we feel that there are challenges that the schools not just facing today, they've been facing even before pandemic. And we've been really observing and seeing what kind of issues the schools are facing and how can Power School help for those issues. So maybe I'll share my screen and start off by a quick introduction of the organization I'm representing first, and then I would talk about the big 5 challenges that we are facing here. So a very brief introduction of Power School, a brief history. The company has been in existence from close to almost 25 years, and for the first 4 or 5 years, we were standalone, run by an entrepreneur in the US, and then 2006 is when we were part of Apple Computers. We were with Apple Computers for close to 5 years before we, in fact, for close to 7 to 8 years before we were took over by Pearson. Pearson is all of you know they are into education, and Pearson I think it was a very good synergy with Pearson to have this company with them. And for the next 9 years, since 24 until 2014, we were a part of Pearson Group, and that's when Vista Equity Partners came into picture. And until that point of time, we were primarily a student information system organization. We were solving one part of the problem that the schools were facing, but since then, since 2015 and today, we have acquired dozens of companies. Today we have more than 30 plus products in our portfolio, and pretty much everything that we think, and maybe most of you would be facing challenges for, we have product for that in our portfolio. And we feel that we have been fairly successful in adding digital efficiencies into the tech ecosystem in North America. So far we have been very dominant in the North America market. Okay, before we move on, I'll quickly touch that in the recent, this is just a couple of months back, we have also gone public on New York Stock Exchange. This is again a very significant milestone in the company, in the organization, because now we were already in a very responsible position when we were serving most of the North American schools. But today we are, since we are public, now we have a lot more responsibility to represent our stakeholders as well. Talking about Power School, like today we have more than 45 plus million students who are using Power School's products. 75% of the students are using at least one of our products. Yeah, and our products, our customers are spread across more than 90 plus countries. We have a pretty large team of 3,000 team members. Out of 1,000 of them are based out of Bangalore in India, and we have a total of 100 million users who are using our product. So in North America, it's like we have our market dominance. We are the largest provider of edtech products there. But in the last couple of years, we've been really deliberating, because we feel that the kind of products we are offering, it's really it could be really helpful for the schools in India as well. And we have been the back in the back end, we have been doing that research, me and my team, where we've been meeting a lot of schools and figuring out what products could fit here, and how PowerSchool can help market like India as well. So with that, we have been able to make some progress, and we will talk about one of the products that we feel that will be able to solve a lot of problems that schools are facing today. Asia, although we haven't been doing a lot of outreach there, but we still have schools who have found us, who have reached out to us and are using one of our products. We have more than 500 plus schools in Asia are using our products, and some of the names you see over there, some of the pretty reputed names in India and even internationally as well. International School of Hyderabad, Keystone School, American Embassy School, and then you have Hong Kong International School who are using. These are just some of the key logos that I'm talking about, but there are more than 500 plus schools, as I said. So yeah, talking about the big five challenges faced by schools, right? So I'll start with each persona. Like there are in this school, we know that there are four stakeholders primarily, right? One is the principal, then you have a teacher, then you have parents, and of course the students. So we'll talk about each one, like what kind of challenges that each one would be facing, right? Present day of teachers. Right now, we feel that they are using a lot of resources, right? They are using a lot of resources in the form of, it could be digital content, or it could be something that they have prepared by themselves. It's a hard copy content, but how do you measure the effectiveness of that content? You can do that, but it's very time consuming. Unable to cope with multiple digital tools. I think most of the schools we have seen, they were using already a lot of digital tools even before pandemic, and post pandemic, schools who were not using, they also started using. And today what we see, they have, like most of the schools have plethora of digital tools that they use, right? It includes your Google Suite, it includes your Microsoft Suite, it includes your content for your content providers, different providers that you use. So there are so many digital tools that you use now. How do you kind of, it sometimes it's become too much of a clutter for teachers, right? And how do you basically make it more seamless in terms of user experience? Next is conducting assessments. That part, again, if it is something that we have felt and heard from schools, that it is very time consuming. It's something that really takes a whole lot of time from teachers, and rather than focusing on the students, there is a lot of time that's being spent on this. Unable to customize learning for each child. Again, I think most of the teachers here, educators here already know that there is, every student has their own needs, right? They have different, they would have their own learning curve. So now, how do you customize the tools that you're using? How do you customize the learning methods that you're using for their development? The last, but definitely not in the least, unable to share learning materials effectively. And so we've met like a bunch of schools, and I think pre-pandemic, a lot of the schools were using sharing materials through WhatsApp and maybe some other communication tools, which maybe it's okay to use that when we are forced to, but I think if you really want to track how what kind of materials you're using, and then what's or follow up on those materials, have the students watched it, or what's the engagement level of that material, then I think that's where we felt that teachers have been struggling. They just shared the material, but they don't know if the students, everybody has gone through, how much they have gone through, how much they understood, and stuff like that. Moving to the students, present day of students, we have like giving the same set of. So this is again, I think assessment is a challenge for, like, since teachers spend a lot of time on assessments. Also, like recycling the same assessments, or maybe having different kind of questions based on the same theme is not. It's something very time consuming, and that's also we see that it sprung a level of disengagement into students, where like if they have to use this or go through the same assessments again and again, that really kind of not very doesn't make them very exciting about it. Student teacher interaction is limited. That I think it is also with pandemic, it is also kind of increased, but even prior to pandemic, the kind of student to teacher ratio that you have in the classrooms, it is good, but it's limited, I think, to be very honest, going by the current state of student teacher ratios that we have in the schools. Students are experiencing delay in quick evaluation of their learning. Yeah, they give the assessments and they take, then they wait for weeks before they get the results. That's something we feel that students really want to know what the results are sooner, and then accordingly act on the results. Learning is no more fun. They are not able to interact, learning, exchange. This is again collaboration. I think students love collaboration within the peer group. That's another piece that we feel that not something we haven't seen a lot of very effective tools where this is happening in schools, right? And dependency on parents laptop, this is, I would say, one of the form factors challenges, that not everybody has laptops at home, or sometimes they face challenges sharing parents laptops at home. Talking about parents, due to busy schedule, they of course can't really track the courses being taught in the school to validate what the child is learning, and it's something one that's one aspect that we have constantly heard from them. They want to know what's being taught in the school and what's being learned by the child. So that's one piece. In the current state of things, they are not very. They don't get that kind of visibility. In the absence of digital tools, parents lack the real-time information. So a lot of times you have daily activities, daily assessment that happens in the school. Parents may or may not have access to that. Parents are not aware of assigned tasks and submission dates. This is again like this is again keep, keeping them, giving them visibility of what's being assigned to the students, and what's being assigned to the child, and what's the due date, so that if required they can also assist this child at home. Then of course they are, I think, most of us who are here, and those of you who are parents, they are very worried. They are worried about the child's future and progress, so they just want to be kept in loop in terms of what's going on in the school. And then teacher parent interaction that happens on a, I think, depending on schools it happens, but this is something that could improve, which is, I think, it could be more real time, it could be more ongoing than waiting for a parent teacher meetings to happen. Talking about principals, for them, training and upskilling of teachers is one of the key areas that they are looking for, because teachers are the people who are shaping and are really depending on their academic excellence of the school. Long delays in getting updates on course progress, they would like to see for each course, for each subject, how much progress have been done on an ongoing basis. So they would like to see that visibility in terms of effectiveness on teachers, right? How effective what they have been teaching. That's again another key area for principals to know. Facing difficulties in identifying weak concepts, so that's again to understand, to have very granular reports, like in a class of 30 there could be 5 students who are struggling in 5 different topics. So get that kind of reporting, that okay, these are the areas, and where they can intervene and have like work with the teachers to help the students. Measuring the effectiveness of the edtech tools, they are sponsoring, or they are paying for a lot of edtech tools that the school is using. They would like to see what is the effectiveness of each tool that they're using, how much are they being used, and what's the outcome by using those edtech tools. That's, I think we have already seen that schools are using a bunch of different tools. So how do we solve that? Before we talk about that, I think four pillars of effective learning that we have observed. One is, I think it needs to be flexible. Students should be able to learn anytime, anywhere. Of course, we all understand, and I think we all feel that in-person learning is something that really is required, but at the same time there needs to be different form factors that you should be able to have students learn during different times and during different at different places as well. Empowering students should have the freedom to make choices and be active. So if you see a lot of times it needs to be a two-way process, right, where it's not just that students are consuming what the teacher is teaching, or they're just consuming the content and the quizzes that the teacher has shared, but it needs to be more interactive. Students need to participate in the process, right? And then tailored students' personal needs are matched with specific. So here again, this is something that you need to we understand that different students have different challenges, and I think any solution that needs to be designed for schools, it needs to be able to tailor it for different students. If there are 3,000 different students, the system needs to understand the needs of each student. Mastery based, this is again very I think this is something that we really believe in a proficiency based learning for each subject area. This is again basically this kind of learning can doesn't doesn't only give teachers and teachers, parents, and the principals that kind of analytics where they can help students, but even students themselves a lot of self learning where they understand that what are the key areas that they are struggling on, and they can focus on those key areas. So with that intention in mind, we have launched Schoology Learning here in India. It's been a few months. We have already been seeing a very a lot of excited response in the from the schools here. Whoever schools we have showed this product to, they've been really excited and really looking forward to use this. And before I move on and show you what Schoology is, I'll just show you a quick video that how it's being used in most of the schools today, right? And that will give you some.
We created Schoology in 2009 really with the mission of continuously advancing what's possible in education. At the click of a button, you can personalize education, you can assess student strength and weakness, you can grow student outcomes like you've never been able to do before. Schoology is a learning management system that simplifies the teaching and learning process by connecting people with all of the tools that they need in one simple platform. Schoology has made it possible for the boundaries of the classroom to be extended beyond just the brick and wall. The reality is that people are online all the time. Students and learners have devices in their pockets, and they expect that same sort of immediacy from education. The goal for us has been to be able to deliver that kind of experience anytime, anywhere, and on any device. One of the core things that's great about Schoology is the focus on communication and collaboration. And what we've tried to do is make that a core part of the platform so that it's infused in students' learning and teachers' teaching every single day. Those are two elements that are so critical for success in life in general. We see it all the time where educators are actually collaborating with other educators, not just within the same institution, not even in the same region, but potentially even broader around the world, across the country. And they're sharing not only ideas, but resources, best practices, even sometimes full lessons and units that can be used in other people's coursework. Everything is right at their fingertips.
I think as you saw in the video as well, right? So this is something solution that that kind of embeds learning or stitch different tools and learning tools on one platform, which is not even which obviously does work in the remote settings, because I think you may have seen this. It works on different kind of devices, including your tablets, phones, and laptops, but this is something that also is very useful within the classroom as well, and I'll show you how is that. But before that, just very quickly on a little bit about the product. This is not a new product. This is there in the market from more than 10 years. There are more than 20 million users who are there on the platform, and there are more than 60,000 schools who are already using this. And Power School, being a global organization, being one of the big MNCs here, we have data centers around the world to ensure that there is an uptime of 99.998%, which is pretty much, I think your system will be up all the time. Now, how Schoology is solving these challenges for students? They get and I'll show you very briefly on the platform right after this how that happens on Schoology. But students, they get personalized learning. They get the key improvement areas where they need to focus on, and they also get content based on areas they need to improve on. Form factor, you can use it anywhere, anytime. You can use it on your mobile phone, you can use it on your tablets, laptops, of course, if you have, you can use it. Engagement and integrations, this of course the kind of tools that Schoology embeds within, and the kind of functionalities Schoology have in terms of group discussions or collaboration. So that kind of those kind of things really we have seen really encourages more engagement in the classroom, and this is what we have been hearing from all our customers, not just in North America. Even the customers who are there in India, they have been telling us the same thing, that since the time they have implemented Schoology, now the engagement levels of the classes are much higher because students are much more into peer collaboration. For teachers, they can use it for extend to home. They need not stick to that 1 hour, 1.5 hour session in the class and just stick to that. They can maybe share some kind of, they can extend some kind of learning towards the home, keep it light, but at the same time they can also have a follow through in the home. Lessons and resources, they can even today we've seen that teachers are creating their own resources and their own lesson plans and everything, and they keep it on their Word documents in a separate folder. But if you use the same thing on Schoology, it's not just shared with the students, it also could be shared with other teachers within the organization, where you can collaborate on those resources. Assessments and auto grading saves a ton of time for teachers. You can create an item bank once and need not think about it again, right? Only then you can, maybe in future you can just do some edits to the question bank that you have. But once you create your own item bank, your own assessment bank, you don't have to rely on any of you don't have to really spend that number of hours that you used to spend earlier on assessments. Mastery based intervention and building mastery based intervention is basically, it gives teachers a report on the proficiency levels of students, at what level they are, and that really helps. We have seen that really helps teachers to understand which students are struggling and on what subject areas they are struggling. Building community, we have professional development communities for teachers, where they can not only interact with teachers within their own school, but if their principals permit, they can also interact with teachers outside their schools from different schools. And it could be as you were seeing in the video before, it could be not just somebody in your own country, it could be somebody in other countries as well, basically sharing the best practices, what's going on in the world of education, and try to learn from each other, so that you know what's ongoing at, like what the best of the schools in the world are using, and if there is something that you would like to adopt from those. For principal admins, they could do get a future ready school. Right now everybody wants to be technology ahead in terms of the kind of technology that's implemented in their schools. So this definitely positions you there in terms of the insights and the communication. Schoology is very well positioned there. Replicating star teachers, we have seen a lot of attrition in this space where principals struggle when a teacher leaves from one school to another. But here, if you have you have the you have your star teacher who has created the curriculum that they use in their classes, right? And the same curriculum could be used by the teacher who has joined maybe later, and also they can start from where the previous teacher left. So that's again a big advantage that we've seen and we have heard from that otherwise schools struggle with. Parents, they get for them, they want to stay involved, they want to know what's going on, they need to get real-time information, they need to have easy ways of communication, and they need to know what is the engagement level for their child. So all of that could be done on Schoology. And as I was talking about, we see that currently schools are using a plethora of different applications through the edtech space. It's not just one. So you are using content from somebody, Microsoft Teams, somebody is using, then you have Zoom, you have different productivity platforms. For assessment, you may be using another tool. So Schoology brings all of that together. We have already have more than 200 plus pre-built integrations, and as we are we are coming across new organizations in India, we are also building those integrations here in our system. Very briefly, before I show you a quick peek into the platform, we have this is one of some of our key schools who have been using this platform. And if you hear from them, I think one thing that we have heard consistently from most of our customers, that the platform is very intuitive. It was pretty easy to implement. It was because one challenge for any challenge for an edtech tool is, if you implement them, there is a lot of training that needs to happen for teachers, students, for adoption. But what we heard, and we were very excited to hear that most of the schools and their teachers and students, there were barely any training required, although we did have that. But their feedback, it was so seamless that we can just go on our own. So without taking much of your time now, I'll quickly show you a quick peek into the environment as well, how Schoology learning looks like. And after that, we'll just open this up for questions really quick. All right, I think you should be able to see my screen now. I'm on Schoology home screen, and here on the right hand side you see I am on the principal role right now. This has most of the features, so I'll just stick to that. But you have Sudhir Pathak here, who's a teacher. Mithika's parent is the parent profile, and Mithika Patel is a student. So here you see the intent of showing you this is basically brings everything, the entire academics of your school at one place. So under courses, you have every subject that you teach in the school. You have all those courses here. And to give you an example how these are structured, I'll go to Indian History grade 12. Here you'll see you can create different folders and create different units within those folders as per the curriculum of that subject. And within that, you can, if we are using content from different providers, you can plug it in here. If not, we have built-in integrations with YouTube and some of the largest content providers like Tata McGraw-Hill Education. You can plug in that content here. And then it is not like, generally when you get content, it is just like a student is consuming it and then you don't know what happens, what's going to go happen next. Here the content is structured in a way that you show them content, and then you have a mandatory discussion here where students must participate in that discussion. They have to share their thoughts, what they feel about that topic, what they think about that topic. And then you have a project. As part of the project, you can have a student submit a PowerPoint, basically creating 8 slides on uh, certain themes that a teacher decides on that topic. And then you can have assessments created, follow up for following that. So Schoology has a very solid assessment tools as well. I'll very quickly give you a peek to that, and then we will open it up for questions here. So if you can see my screen, I think there are some basic kind of assessments that everybody has, but Schoology has very sophisticated and very next advanced assessments where you can, of course, do your multiple choice questions and fill in the blanks, but you can do a lot more on Schoology once you have access to that. I'm just waiting for my screen to load. So you have different drop down options here where within so like in this case you can answer a question by highlighting a sentence, right? In this case you can drag and drop the images to answer some kind of questions. Then again, this is more of a timeline based questions. You can have such kind of thing. If you have graphs, you can also create those kind of questions with just one click of a button. It works. If you want to highlight certain parts in an image, you can create questions like that. If you want the students to use calculator, you can use have question. If you want a paper based questions, you can create those multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, of course you can do. Apart from this, I think one very powerful thing that really sets Schoology apart from others is our resources. So resources, you create your entire public library into resources, but also the public resources also, if you want, you can access a lot of like as I said, we have 60,000 schools who are using Schoology. So you can have access to all those 60,000 schools who have volunteered to share some content with other educators, and they want to like help sharing best practices. So in this case, you see Erin Labs is an educator in the US, and she has shared some grammar lessons here, and teachers around the world are really enjoying the content, and they're also reviewing and sharing their ratings. So this really puts Schoology at the front, because I think there is very any platform where you have 20,000, 60,000 schools, and there is such a strong community where people are working with each other to make education better. Right, so that's at a very high level. About we have a bunch of other features like groups. You can create your own groups and communities for different kind of messaging, different kind of I think assignments. You can also create we have our own app center. As I said, there is more than 200 plus applications which are already here in the app center. And then you can have calendar, you have your own messaging, you have notifications options over here. So I would say, if I have to say what is an LMS, I think that's one thing that we hear, because concept of a learning management system we have seen is pretty new and pretty recent here in India. So it is basically, I think right now you may be using your phones or you may be using your laptops, and everything has uh, without an operating system, that they are not really, it's not really worth anything, right? If your laptop doesn't have, let's say, Windows installed, you will not be able to use it or do anything about it, or an iOS installed. Similarly for your phones, if it's Android or iOS, if the operating system is not there, you will not be able to do anything with them. So the concept of Schoology is here again. It is an OS and operating system for your edtech tools, for your academics, right? And everything else that you use in your school can be built on this, can be used here. So what happens is everything is collaborated and everything is integrated in one place, and you can streamline, you can organize your education, and you get much more powerful uh, insights that otherwise you may not get if you're using 10 different tools. So that's about it. I think we also have very frequent webinars that happens every week. So you would really, I think Nikita would be sharing some links with you where you can really participate. You can join those webinars and also get a very uh, detailed demo from our team. And this is something that we would really appreciate. If you have any questions or anything that you think that me or my team are able to help out with, we would be happy to help you with that. So with that, I'll maybe keep it open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Nikhil. We will wait for the questions. It was a wonderful session, and we really had a good insight about Power School. So let's wait for the question and answer sessions, and then we move on.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks.
So I think we have a question here. We have, can we integrate our existing ERP into Schoology? The answer is yes. If you are using ERPs for your academic, for your admin purposes like fee collection and stuff like that, we do integrate with your ERP, so that just the way I showed you, there are 200 plus different tools. ERP would be one of them, which will work seamlessly with your academic tool, which is Schoology. Okay, the next one is, how about the training? Training is provided by, so we have more than 1,000 schools, 1,000 people who are using, who are 1,000 people who are based out of Bangalore and who are supporting Power School. And we have a very large training team which takes care of training. So depending on what the school prefers, we provide both in person and remote training as well. The next one is, does the assignments have time period? Yes, you can define the time period. We have seen that in some cases, educators do want time period, and in some cases they do not want time period. So you can configure it when you design the assignments. Can we conduct the periodic test from this platform? Yes, we can definitely conduct periodic tests from this platform. Can we partner with international schools virtually through Power School? What is the reach of the network globally of Power School? We do have, I think, more than 60,000 schools, which are all international on Power School. There is a good chunk in India as well, but compared to 60,000. So if you want to partner, the platform does have a great network, and if there is any specific, what do you say, proposal or something in mind where you would like to work with us to partner with any of the schools, we can work with you. We can help with the connections. I think on the platform we can help with the connections, and after that I think it depends on school and uh, the others. Like, it depends on the two schools how they want to partner together. Sure, we can. The partnerships help us in ISA award initiatives. I think once a school is in the platform, there will be plenty of opportunities to partner. So we can discuss that. All right. I think there is one last question, that can we, what is this secure? How secure is school data on Schoology? The data is very secure because we have to be compliant with some of the international compliance policies, being an international product. So we do have very stringent security policies. The school data does not go out of school owners' hand. About the cost, it varies on how big the school is, the number of students. I think that depends on that, but we are very, very economical compared to what we have seen the products here. So I can just say at a high level, it ranges anywhere between 250 to 400 per student per year, right? So that's depending on how number of students and if the term of the contract is 1 or 3 years. Yes, we can integrate most of the third-party content to this. Yes, we can. And in fact, it also allows a very different kind of content. It's not just videos that you can integrate. You can integrate your item banks from different providers. You can integrate, if you are using any other like PDFs or any kind of PPTs that you are using on the other platform, you can integrate all of that on Schoology. We have do we have content? We have integrations with content, and we have one of our in-house content partners as well that PowerSchool provides. So if you are willing to also get content from Power School, will be happy to provide you that as well.
Okay, sir, I think we're done with the questions.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of our session. I would additionally also like to thank Nikhil sir and Nikita ma'am for the part of the session. And I assume that our audience is very keen to be a part of Fun School. So thank you so much for giving out your time to us.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, Ananya.
Ananya, and the entire IRDA team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
IDEA is Individual Resource Development International. It is a complete journey offered to the students to be prepared to lead a progressive life. This initiative is an effort by the like-minded professionals who have learned about life by their own experiences and by eventually realizing what seeds could have been sown to do better in life. We at IDEA Studio want to be the torchbearer in assisting the self-development of a child and help young minds see clear and a confident path to tread on. We want children, especially the ones in their teenage, to be well-groomed, independent, and judicious from an early stage in their lives. Yes, the program is primarily for the young, but there's a difference. The difference here is parent or adult participation and collaboration. Adults become the medium here. That is predominantly what our role is, right? To begin with, we make the children go through a series of tests while offering career guidance and counseling to them. These tests will be based on a combination of multiple intelligence theory, aptitude, and personality. These will help us determine not only the aptitude of a child based on his or her personality, but also their primary and secondary intelligences. Therefore, allowing us to give them a very clear and effective counseling as well as guide them to choose the right career paths. However, that is not what we stop at. We shall also be focusing on their grooming and confidence building. There are three programs which we have designed with the assistance of experts from around the world. We call them the Aram, Praram, and Parichay. Aram is for classes 5, 6, and 7, focusing on life skills, mind frame, knowledge quotient, interest, and hobbies. We believe this as the foundation for students to be better prepared as they have almost entered the adolescent phase or are about to. Next is Praram. Aram is the beginning and Praram is about being focused. This program is for the 8th, 9th, 10th standard students who have the desire to do something or are dealing with inner conflict which does not allow them to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially. They only follow, which at this stage could seem to be true, but is only temporary and could actually affect the future, which is a very long, responsible, and a challenging phase. Let me help you understand this through numbers. Childhood is 0 to 10 years. Teenage phase is 11 to 19 years. Youth is 20 to 25. Human lifespan in a normal condition is at least 60 years. If we deduct the first 25 years as adults, the child needs to drive the next 35 years. Childhood was love, care, and guidance. Teenage was excess attention, love, peer pressure. Youth was love, expectations, and compulsions. All the three stages reflect concern and cooperation, but adulthood is responsibilities and independence, which many a times brings in fear, which compels us to be less experimental, lack the guts, and we become followers. So Prarabdha provides the foundation to build the potential through individual capacity and emotional stability. Parichaya is the last leg of program, where it is all about focus, setting goals, being enterprising, being human, being realistic, and connected to people, place, and emotions. As mentioned before, these programs are realistic and might not be ideal. Realistic for it caters individuals. Every enrolled student will be cajoled, will be encouraged, and walk through along with the assigned counselors, along with their parents. Every dream is individual, and so is every individual. So, how can we offer a standardized program to one and all? There is no one shoe that fits all. We have to go by the child and their personalities. Standardization could be possible in offering academic information, training into vocational subjects, pursuing hobbies, etc. We will work on the individuality of a child through this program. It's like science is a subject, while scientist is the inventor. It's like dancing is learning steps. The performance is individual expression, the choreography, and the interpretation. In a factory, a product is manufactured but sold through innovative ideas. This interpretation, innovation, and experimenting is what we will help children explore and also learn during their journey with us at IRDI Studio. Thank you. On behalf of all of us at Team IRDI, I thank you all. Do visit us at www.irdistudio.com. We encourage you subscribe to our channel and keep liking the videos and share your comments and thoughts in the comment section. Thank you.